Welcome into the Bobby Carpenter Show. It's a Friday. It's a fast Friday. It's a football Friday. It is time to be hanging out with my dude, Mr. Anthony Schlegel. Should be a fun show today. Super pumped. Before we get going and do too much, Schlegs, I want to wish a happy birthday to your lovely wife, Steffers, who you've known for, my goodness, probably like 30 years now. I've been dating for like
29 years, man. I met her when I was 16. Yeah. She was 15.
Yeah, and so now she's 40, or 35. So, that's great.
Yeah.
Buckeyes. So big happy deal. Listen, so you've got a game day coming up. You're done with junior high football now. Got a Buckeye game day. I know Steph is an avid football fan. Are you taking her to Champaign for her birthday?
Oh man, she loves
it's the romantic place on earth.
Hey, let me tell you something. Steph absolutely loves football. No, she doesn't. She tolerates it because she knows that I'm passionate about it. God bless her. No, my wife is so frugal and so easygoing that I was like, what do you want to do for your birthday? For me, it's, I want chicken pot pie, like I'm pretty simple. I'm like, what would you like? She's like, I want to go to the farm. I want a fire. I want a Jim Beam and honey and some Coke, Diet Coke. And I want a veggie pizza from Donato's and a ice cream sundae. I said, you're amazing. I got that. Faith and I got that. So that's what's going to happen. And we got to ruck. We got to go on some farm walks with our black lab Gunner, and we enjoy that. So yeah.
What about the little dog? Does the little dog come too?
Schubert? Chewy? No, he doesn't come. He just hangs out in the house. He'll get eaten out there.
Right,
he'll just get eaten. Oh, there's hawks. AJ out there morphing his cousins and stuff out there.
I get that. That's why your big dog, your Gunner's there to protect him, dude. He's never leave your wingman.
Chewy thinks he's just like, this dog weighs all of 7 pounds, and he's just as like the guy. But he would just straight up eat. A possum would eat him. Like they don't even eat dogs, but like a possum would just come out of nowhere and just snatch him up. And it's like, where'd Chewy go? Where did who go?
Oh,
there he's gone.
So you're going to do the ruck tomorrow morning. Are we going to be back saddled in, ready for the Ohio State game?
Oh, yeah, 100%. 100%.
Okay. That's good. I want to make sure you're dedicating enough time to your lovely wife, getting ready to go down there. It's going to be a lot of fun. Congratulations. Happy birthday to Steph, because she deals with you. And she's the one that I text when you're never awake in the morning.
Yeah.
You always tell me you're up, but you don't answer your phone. And then I'm like, kick your husband, Steph. She's there drinking coffee, and
she's already ready to go. Yeah. I totally failed her this morning too. I got up early.
It's your birthday.
I know. I got up early. Like I was like, hey, I'm like, hey, it's time to get up. Like, my alarm hasn't gone off yet because she gets up right at 6 o'clock. I'm like, cool. So I got back into bed, and then I didn't wake up again until 7:30.
Don't you believe coffee?
But I had her. I do. I had her coffee set up, ready to go. So I just go over there and pour it and give it to her the way that she likes it. I try to be nice. But today I just kept sleeping. It happens. Charge it to winning.
Oh, Lord.
She knows what she married. She knows what
she married. That's remarkable. All right. Well, we do have the Buckeyes. We do have in Champaign. We do have a huge weekend of college football coming up.
Oh, huge.
Very, very exciting. Going to be a fun one. Not the tightest line in the world, but a ranked-on-ranked matchup. Ohio State Buckeyes in Champaign, Illinois. Seeing if Brett Bielema can kind of validate where they've been at, take that win the big win they had against USC. Can you roll that over now to Ohio State? See what you can do. They had a little bit of a tougher one against Purdue. Didn't maybe play as well as they wanted to with that. So I get it all. It makes sense. But, Schlegs, we need to get them going. Right? We need to get everybody fired up. And the best way I know to get people fired up is with the Buckeye trailer. Just get them right in there. I watch this. I get juiced up. I know you watch it. You get juiced up.
Yes.
Here we go.
It's about an identity. And the team that's desperate and the team that's hungry is going to win the game.
Strong together, man. We're strong. We got to be the best team. So grab your teammates, man.
You go to war when you go to fight with your brother, it doesn't matter what it takes. It doesn't matter where we play, it doesn't matter who we're playing, you're fighting for your brother.
You play for two things,
You play for that Buckeye on that helmet. You play for that name on that jersey. All day long, with speed and toughness. With toughness. It's gonna be a fight. Life is a fight. This game will be a fight, and we will do it with physicality and brotherhood and love for each other.
Let's freaking go.
There we go, man. Are you ready to play? I feel like you should be. Offensively, you should be. Defensively, you should be. All right, Schleichs, looking at this game. Let's start previewing this. Take a little dive in. Walk into Champaign. What, if any, issues do you potentially see arising in this game this week?
I mean, I only see positives for the Buckeyes. I would say this. The number one thing is Indiana game, the turnovers. I think that Illinois – well, I mean, shoot, in the Indiana game, they had a couple block punts, like they got down. But in the Purdue game, Illinois was able to cause some turnovers. But I only look at it from the positive because I think this Ohio State team has been so consistent. They're the only ones that can beat themselves in this. And I'm saying that regardless of who they play in the country, especially when it's good on good. This is a good football team, ranked opponents. But seeing what we could potentially do, and I know that they talk about throwing out the Indiana game, but Indiana rushed for 312 yards to their 2 yards rushing. They also had, I believe, like 7 sacks on Altmaier in that game. You can affect this quarterback, which will dictate everything that transpires. In the Indiana game, they were the reason why they were terrible, besides the turnovers and the block punts and scoring fast. Bobby, they were 1 of 10 on third down. We saw that versus Minnesota last week. They were 1 of 11 on third down. Like, that's how you get possessions. You get stopped, you put them behind the chains. Illinois has not been able to run the ball, and they've not been able to protect the quarterback. So it bodes well defensively to set up the offense to have a very, very productive game. But you have a veteran team. You have a team that got punched in the mouth, like to the 8 count, right? And then got up and then beat a ranked USC team where they had to battle back. They were down. Then you play against a Purdue team. They threw it around, still not rushing for what you thought they would rush against versus a Purdue team, but they got another win, and they're coming in off of a 2-game winning streak, and the game is at home. So it's going to be, what do you do when you come out the gates? And I think that's why I like that video the most. It was, I heard fast. I heard, Mick always talks about on the road, you pack your defense and you pack your tough gutchies. And that's what it is. It's going to be a tough physical matchup, and who wins up front, and that all of that edge is to the Buckeyes.
Yeah, it does favor Ohio State. Their rushing attack has been really good. This offensive line is really good for Ohio State. They've done a
really
great job protecting Julian. I think they're going to lean into this run game. I think they will take some shots when they have them. They showed that last week with Carnell Tate. Teams have a hard time. They just want to play that loose zone and dare them to run, give them stuff underneath, see if they'll be patient. They will. But if you want to just let them rush for 6, 7, 8 yards just about every play, like, dude, just run it downhill on them. If you can break a tackle and turn one to 15 to 20, well, then you got to start getting in some single high safety stuff to get down to stop the run game. And so those are some of the things I think that are going to favor Ohio State on offense. I feel really good about how Julian's playing right now. Don't ever think that Luke Altmaier isn't a good quarterback on the other side. He's probably playing the best of all the guys that they faced this year. I know everyone, Arch Manning, and now he's getting a lot of criticism. He was supposed to be the best. Now he's the worst. He's probably somewhere in between at this moment in his development. But Luke Altmaier's played a lot of football. I believe he started off, I think, Schleg's at Ole Miss under Lane, but he's been at Illinois for, I think, the last 3 years. He's looked really good. He can move around. He can buy time. And they want to run this offense through Luke Altmaier. And so trying to find a way to stop him, slow him down, make sure that he doesn't have the type of success that he can potentially he's had against other teams.
Yep.
Most notably, USC had some measured success against Purdue, maybe not quite as good, and maybe a little bit of a letdown game. But they're going to be amped up, and they're going to be turned up for Ohio State. And Schleggs, they've always been turned up for Ohio State. And hey, it's a good point. Pat just threw it to us in the chat here that he's from Starkville, and went to Ole Miss. So he's the Southern kid, but he's been up here. I mean, he's learned about this, and now he's playing in the Big Ten. But Ohio State against Illinois, when they've both been pretty good, hasn't been great for the Buckeye Schlegs. And none of these games impacted any of the coaches on staff. Well, we'll take a look at it. Throw it up there, Pat. None of them impacted any of the players that are currently here. Ryan Day was never a part of it. I would say, yeah, none of them impacted any of the coaches on staff because none of the coaches were here in 01, not in 91, not in 90, and not in 83. Whenever both teams have been ranked, it hasn't been terrific. And so I was at that last one in 2001. It was the final game before Michigan at home. And I think that was the night before Steve Belisari got a DUI Schlegs that week leading in. And they started, I think, Scott McMullen that game, and then Craig Krenzel started against Michigan. And the reality is I'm fairly certain the whole roster probably wasn't even born since that is probably already was or has been born since that 2001 game.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Unless they're like me and they had like 35, red shirts in COVID years and whatever.
I think all those guys are gone now. So yeah, that's a big deal as we look at this. But Illinois has always kind of been a little bit of a bugaboo for Ohio State. They've been a team that has risen up and given Ohio State historically some problems. I don't see that being the case this week. People talk about a chance of a Buckeye letdown, something we'll get into next. Talk a little bit about the offensive line and how they're playing and why you talked about Mick with two things on the road, Schlegs. Well, you pack your run game, which is going to be driven by your offensive line. You need to be tough. That's going to be a defensive piece, but we'll lean into all of that and everything here coming up next, Schlegs. But first, I want to tell you, listen, our friends over at FanDuel, they've got an offer you don't want to miss this NFL season. If you missed the Giants-Eagles game last night, you're doing it wrong because it was absolutely tremendous to watch. Like Jackson Dart, new customers, bet $5, get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet $5. If it wins, you unlock $300 in bonus bets used all across the app. Took the Giants last night with the points. Heck, you could have took them on the money line, and it all would have been good. You can build parlays, bet some player props, maybe Jackson Dart on a future potentially to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. That might be in play. Ride the live lines, whatever your style. FanDuel, they've got you covered. The NFL season is here. The only question is, are you ready to play? Visit FanDuel.com/bigplay to download the FanDuel app today and get started. Must be 21 older and present in Ohio or 21 older and present in Pennsylvania. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Ohio State letdown possible? We'll talk about it next here on the Bobby Carpenter.
Creative, experience, results. That's what drives growth. That's what builds brands. That's Lake Spur Marketing, a full-service agency built on trust, strategy, and performance, not fluff. From bold strategies to flawless execution, every campaign is rooted in smart planning and driven by clear goals. We don't chase clicks. We build partnerships. We show up, dig in, and deliver every single time. Lake Spur Marketing. The proof is in our partners.
All right, Schlegs, how do you prevent the letdown in a game like this? Now, should you even have a letdown? Probably not, because this is a ranked team. It's a ranked-on-ranked matchup. It's big noon kick. Now, I know they throw a lot of stuff in big noon kick, but this is still a big noon kick. Preventing that letdown, how do we prevent any chance of it happening?
You want me to talk about it?
Yeah, I'm asking you. You're on here with me.
Well, I mean, you highlighted the thing from Ryan Day, but I mean, here's the letdown. Here's how you eliminate that, and you focus on winning each individual day, living in the present. And I believe Ryan Day this week talked about how good his Tuesday practice was, and that's what it is. What's that?
Bloody Tuesday. It's
Bloody Tuesday. And I'm gonna say this. Here's the thing. coming into this year, when you lose 8 starters on defense and you have 14 guys get drafted, you automatically think that you're a young team. However, a lot of the guys that were coming back in key areas got meaningful reps and time on that run to win a national championship in significant, meaningful games in the college football playoff. That bodes well for Ohio State in this. I think you have some young guys. Caleb Downs is like an old soul. Like, he just understands what is required to be elite, and that permeates that side of the ball, along with a guy who's been a veteran Block O guy in Sonny Styles. Offensively, you got an absolute alpha in JJ, and then even Carnell being an Iron Buckeye. Like, those guys are all about their business, and then slap in there dudes that have been through some adversity and trials and done hard things in Austin and Luke and Carson, and you throw in what you're doing over there with Phillip Daniels, like those guys, and then the tight end room and how they are. I think these guys, for being what you would perceive as young, are actually older beyond their years, because they've seen in like the not so distant past of what was required. And that comes with having great practices. And so when everybody talks about it, they're going out there and executing and having one of the best practices of the week in week 6, going on the road versus Illinois, Bob.
So in Tuesday's practice, they call them Bloody Tuesday. You go good on good. They do inside run, team periods, and guys get really physical. When you want to see the offense and defense getting after, and that's when you know you're focused, you're intense, you're ready to go. We talked about it a little bit earlier in the week, and Ryan touched on it. He talked about that, and that's when you know that focus, that ready to play, that mentality is ultimately there. And so let's pull that up about any chance of letdown when Ryan Day was talking about potentially things that could happen and how that looks.
Game, throw it out. It's not who they are. I can't quite explain that game. I know Nebraska had the same thing that happened last year, and then came in and played us all the way to the fourth quarter. So throw that film out. Don't even barely look at it, because to me that's not who we're playing. They, whatever it was in that game, it's an outlier. So we're going to look at the games that were played prior, what they did last year, what they've done the last 2 games. Brett's, again, one of the better coaches in the country, and he's a resilient guy, and they're a resilient team. So I think it says a lot about them to rebound the way they did, get a win against USC, and then go play the way they did last week. So, we all know that going through a tough loss can bring a bunch of people together. I think they've done that, and so we know we're going to get their best shot here on Saturday, and we're going to talk about that today, and we've got to have a great day of practice. Pitch the game.
So when you look at this, he said, go back and look at the last couple of games. And so let's do that, Schlaze. Let's look at Purdue, see what they were able to do against the Boilermakers, a.k.a. Boiler Up. Not great on third down. Now, they did have a lot of yards, 500 total yards, but 2 of 11 on third down, 0 of 1 on first down. I mean, Ohio State, the last 2 games, their opponents are 2 of 22 on third down conversions.
That's amazing.
Now, the reason for that is they're in long third and downs. They're tough to convert, and they're not picking up first downs also, Schlags, on first or second down. But they had 507 total yards, 390 through the air. They rushed the ball okay with 117 yards on 41 carries, though. So 2.9 yards per attempt. Not a particularly effective running day against a Purdue defense that probably isn't something that you're going to write home about. Altmaier was able to carry the day and do that in a big way, of 19 of 22. So they're big chunks, 17.7 yards per pass with 0 picks. So you look at this Illinois team that we think they want to run the football. Want to get down there. Brett Bielema, his calling card has always been hammering the football, getting downhill, winning the trenches. This team is built around Luke Altmaier, and that's what they want to do, is utilize his arm and try to get him out in space, move him around, let him use some of his athleticism, but also push the ball down the field.
It's not like he rushes the ball well, or he wants to do that. He's got 2 rushing touchdowns.
He scrambles more.
He can scramble, right? And I would say this, like in October, like earlier in the season, his completion percentage wasn't all that good, but right now he's completing like 80% of his passes in the month of October. And he's really stepped up over the last 2 games. That's why I think that Ryan has been so adamant about throwing out. You're not throwing it out for the sake of like looking at tendencies and like you and I, Bob, like looking at guards and reading the pack and what is it saying from a running perspective. But it was just how they played that game. And when you are 2 of 11 and you do get to put up 507 yards, what transpired? That was big plays. They had 2 turnovers in that game. Their defense is not good against stopping the run and they give up a lot of big plays, but they are good at getting turnovers, which I think they're like top 10 in the country in turnovers. So it's like that's kind of what they're making their money on, and also some big plays. And on those turnovers, they had 2 plays where it was like, boom, long pass to Beatty, and then they had capped it off with an 80-yard 2-play drive with a 25-yard touchdown run by Valentine. That's how you can have 507 yards and still be 2 of 11, because you're either hitting big plays or you're winning on first and second down and getting first downs in those 2 plays. So here's the deal. If you can have great lane integrity and affect this quarterback, which they have had games where he has been sacked a lot, guess what? It favors the Buckeyes.
It does. And then you go back, Illinois against both Purdue and USC, not great, giving up over 450 total yards in both, 300 yards passing, about $150 in rushing, $125, 30 in rushing to each team. And so they were able to kind of keep that balanced offense, do what they want. It would be far better, Schlegs, if you looked at that and said, hey, Illinois has been really good against the run the last couple of weeks. By the way, they also gave 300 yards rushing to Indiana, but I'm throwing that out because Ryan Day told us to. He said that game doesn't count. Can't use it in your breakdown. All right, so we're not bringing that in. But then they're also giving up over 300 yards through the air, which isn't a good thing either. And so you look at this Ohio State offense, incredibly balanced, and they're able to do a ton of things. So it doesn't really line up all that well for them coming into this week. Like, there's nothing, Schlegs, that you look at this Illinois defense and you say, man, they can really hang their hat on. This is where they should be. This is what they need to do. I'm guessing they'll probably try to bring some pressure. I'm guessing. But, like, to bring pressure too, Schlegs, you got to understand, like, either A, being 3rd and long, or you got to guess and hope that you can be guessing right when there's some play action or maybe a first or second down pass. But Ryan Day keeps this offense pretty balanced, and they may go with some tempo, maybe not, but it's really, really hard, Schlegs, when I watch the game to get a bead on what exactly they're going to do. And I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I watch at least a practice or 2 a week. And if I have a hard time understanding of what they're going to do in every play and I'm watching the practice, then you know what? They probably have then defenses are probably going to have one heck of a time of trying to diagnose it, because Hartline and Day keep them on their heels. All right. Parents, athletes, protect what matters most with X-Sport mouthguards, trusted by professional athletes, designed by NHL team dentists. X-Sport mouthguards are scientifically tested to absorb those high-impact hits, protecting both your teeth and your brain. They feature 3 layers of advanced protection, including a patented use of carbon fiber. They custom fit that to your grill with their 3D printed technology for more protection, better performance, max comfort, clear communication, so you can focus on your game, not on your gear. Don't take chances with your safety. Visit exportguards.com/Bobby today and save 15% on your order. Export, protect what matters most. More of the Bobby Carpenter Show coming up next.
Creative, experience, results. That's what drives growth. That's what builds brands. That's Lake Spur Marketing, a full-service agency built on trust, strategy, and performance, not fluff. From bold strategies to flawless execution, every campaign is rooted in smart planning and driven by clear goals. We don't chase clicks. We build partnerships. We show up, dig in, and deliver every single time. Lake Spur Marketing. The proof is in our partners.
All right, welcome back in the Bobby Carpenter Show. Talked a lot about kind of overall game stuff and everything going on with Illinois, but I want to kind of dive into something a little bit deeper, Schlegs. And
deep
player, we're going so deep. Talk a little bit about the offensive line, maybe Ryan Day on kind of how he handles the expectations of this team. But I want to hit a lot on the relationship with the players and what that ultimately looks like. And not here to throw shade on anybody that's been here before or whatever, but understanding when you build a close relationship with your players, you understand what they're good at, what they're not, how they feel about things. You can have open dialogue and communication about it. And that's not to mean like the term players coach or, a tough coach or whatever it is, like both ends of the spectrum, because people always assume like players coach means like you're nice and not demanding. I think that just means like your players coach, dude, you talk to your guys. And you talk to them, and then you hold them to expectations. You clearly outline those, and you have them go get it done. And I think that's one of the strengths of Matt Patricia, his ability to relate to players, relate to the other coaches on staff, have those tough conversations that, when things need to get changed and need to get done, yeah, you lean into that. But you also ask people for input and advice. So I wanted to read this, or Schlegs, maybe even you can. Peyton Pierce, if you want to, or do you want me to?
I can read it because I am a Texan. He's from North Dallas.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love Peyton. So he's like, I got to know, this is talking about his relationship with Matt Patricia. Says, I got to know him pretty well. It was a lot different than the previous D coordinator. I talked to Patricia more probably his first 2 days here than I did with our old defensive coordinator my whole time being here. Pierce said he's poured into all of us, and he does every single day. I mean, he's still sitting out here talking to players. Any questions we got, he's always here to help, and not just in football, but in life. He's given us different advice and stuff like that, and he's been through so much. So it's great hearing from him every single day, and I appreciate him a lot. Signed, Peyton Pierce.
Signed, Peyton. Well, I don't think he actually penned that. I think he was saying that he was part of the media availability on Wednesday.
I know.
But it's interesting hearing that, because while that was happening, Tim May took a picture of Sonny Styles like sitting on the bench and just hanging out talking to Matt Patricia.
With Caleb.
And like that's what Matty P does. Like he's gonna hang out there and talk with players. And some people are like, oh, you're talking to your players, like you're friends with them. Here's the thing, man, you're all in this together. Like we're all in this together to have success. My success is your success. Your success is my success. It's our success. And so look at these guys. They're all sitting over there. Matty P in the middle. Sonny, I don't know why he's perched up there on the top like some sort of hawk, on top of the bench with the feet on the seat. Matty's sitting on the seat, and Caleb over there talking. I think we even have a Luke Rose sighting.
Yeah, he does. Look at that mustache. You can always tell about Coach Rose over there. Yeah. Strength coach of the Ohio State University. Love Luke.
But those are the conversation Slags where you can talk to your coach about what went on in practice, what went well, what didn't, why we need to do this, and if there's stuff like we don't really like this against this look, or hey, we love this. When are we going to call it? Make sure we get it in. We'd like to run it more. And then the coach will be like, run it well, and we'll run more of it, and we'll figure out solutions for institutions. But that's what Matt's gift really is. And just talking to some of the coaches, him and Boyer, with what they've been able to do there on the defensive side of the ball. And one of the gifts of Bill Belichick, Schlegs, is he always wanted his assistants, back when he was in New England and coaching pretty well, was he wanted his assistants to view the game through his eyes and to be able to see it. And I think any great coach who's done it a lot wants his players to be able to view the game through their eyes. And so that's what Matt and all of these guys, Tim Walton, James, Guerreri, Larry Johnson, like, how can you all view the game the same? And so when you're coming through this, you can understand the answers. You come to the sideline, boom, you already know what the answer is going to be if there's something going on. And so it's not some massive, 3-alarm fire level of correction.
I would say this, much like us and Fick and Wenger's on the whiteboard at the Alana Club. You play Bernie in the background, jumping out of closets wearing a singlet. Those were great times, fond memories, but it opens up a dialogue where you also know where he's coming from when he coaches you really hard. And all of our coaches at Ohio State coach him really hard. But then you could also like, hey, I got a question about this. Like, hey, answer this question. And he has an answer for you. But that's what it is. Coaching is about building relationships and trust with your players so that you can move them beyond what they think that themselves are capable of. And defensively, the amount of communication, most impressive thing for me, the amount of communication and multiple use of individual guys within the system, within the foundation of the defense has been the most impressive. All of them are very, what's the word I'm looking for? Unselfish, right? Hey, I'm going to go from a DN to go to a nose guard that's going to bring another DN on the field, or I'm going to play outside on this one. Now I'm going to go inside the box. And we talked about that learning curve, even for Sonny last year, who was a safety that then played Will, Mike, and Sam with all within the first 4 weeks of his first year starting at linebacker. Whatever is required for us to have a great defense, we'll do it. And they communicate at a high level because they are educated. Not to say that they're not educated players. They are highly football intelligent athletes. Pair that with a great educator and a great coaching staff that educates and cares, and you're able to see what they're doing. And that's why I said earlier, they are a more veteran team than their age displays on a roster.
Absolutely, they are, Schlegs. They're doing a great job. And it's those veteran group of guys that really came together this offseason to push it through, have the relationship with the coach, and be able to do all that stuff together. All right, there's two groups of guys that aren't really getting the love, and people aren't really talking about them. And maybe, Schlegs, these are two groups of guys that's a great thing for their position. We're going to talk about that and break those groups down next and get into some big noon historical numbers about who's on the big noon kick and what that ultimately looks like. We got that coming up to you next. But first, I want to tell you about our friends over at Backer, bckr.com. Premium Buckeye gear, premium college football gear. It looks great. It feels great. It's all the stuff you want. It's all the features that are going to be there. It's the high-end, high-quality skiing, fishing, golfing, hunting gear. It's all of that wrapped into one. You're going to want to get it. I've got it. It's finally time, Schlegs. It's time to wear maybe a little windbreaker. Maybe pull out the raincoat. They've got a great cold weather gear. But I want fall first, so don't give me the cold weather just quite yet. Just the cool is all I need. I can wear a windbreaker out and have some fun with that. Go check it out, bckr.com. Use promo code all caps Bobby, BOBBY at checkout for free expedited shipping. Backer, bckr.com. Check them out. Headlines coming up next.
Creative, experience, results. That's what drives growth. That's what builds brands. That's Lake Spur Marketing, a full-service agency built on trust, strategy, and performance, not fluff. From bold strategies to flawless execution, every campaign is rooted in smart planning and driven by clear goals. We don't chase clicks. We build partnerships. We show up, dig in, and deliver every single time. Lake Spur Marketing. The proof is in our partners.
Lake Spur Marketing, sponsoring our headlines. They got 100 combined years of experience to help you choose your marketing strategies, your tools, your tactics, the products that are going to be right for your business. They don't pitch you the latest and greatest, and they're going to shield you from cold callers that want to try to just throw things against the wall. Leave the marketing to them so you can do what you do best, which is run your business. Lake Spur Marketing will eliminate waste and help you maximize your marketing budget. Trust the experts. Trust Lake Spur Marketing. The proof is in their partners. Visit them at lakespurmarketing.com today. All right. That's our headline, Schlegs.
Yeah. So many headlines.
Before we get to the Fox stuff of the big noon.
Ooh, big nooners.
Two groups of players that, you know what, it's probably a good thing if you don't hear a whole lot about them. That might be the very best of things, to quote Andy Dufresne. And looking at the offensive line pressures, Pat, let's toss that up. Offensive tackles and what they've been able to do. And Austin Serveld, and this was the two positions that they had to replace on the offensive line. Left tackle, right tackle.
Yep.
You know, they lost just Simmons.
Yep.
Donovan kicks out there. He's gone. And then Fryer was going to be gone regardless. All those guys were leaving. They were all veterans. Austin Serveld goes out to play left tackle. Boom. Second fewest pressures or tackles, pressures allowed by offensive tackles after week 6. And then Phillip Daniels is tied for third right there behind him. He's a Cincinnati kid, went to Minnesota, comes back to Columbus, got a nasty streak in him, Schleich.
Yes.
You got to kind of pull him back sometimes, but a big frame, a tough kid. Both of those guys, first-year starters at the position for the Buckeyes, and both of those guys are playing at an all Big Ten level.
Yeah, they are. And we talk about Julian, right? We talk about JJ. We talk about Carnell. We're talking about Bo. We're talking about Max Clare. Easy to do when you're able to. Not easy to do. You have a better ability of maturing as a 5-game starter now, going into a 6th game when your offensive line is giving up the fewest TFLs and the 4th fewest sacks in the country. And you got your right and left tackle that are number 2 and number 3 in the country, and pressures, right? And there were some great things in the comments about what do you think, Illinois going to blitz them and stuff. Well, you can blitz all you want, but if it gets picked up, now you're having dudes on dudes with zones with a lot of green grass and opportunity. Like, do you want to play that, or do you want to keep everything in front and just shorten this game, right? So we come out of here with not a 63 to whatever drumming. And that's what it is. And that offensive line has been really good, Bob.
Offensive line's been great. And then this is Caleb Downs on the other side, star of the defense. We've talked so much about Arvell Reese, Sonny Styles, Caden Curry, Caleb Downs.
Yes. Big
Caleb
Mac, Caden Mac too.
Goes on his Downs to business with his brother who plays for the Colts. And he has the comment, the more you don't hear the corner's name means they're doing a good job. Here's what he had to say, Pat, as we slide across and listen to the audio of that. No sound? Wait, what? Buckeye?
Buckeyes. No sound. Hold on, Pat said. Here,
Yeah.
I'll sum it up, Bob. It is this. If just because you might not hear Caleb Downs' name all over the place or see him in the stat sheet with leading the team in tackles, or IGB, or Jermaine Matthews, or a Lorenzo, or a Devin Sanchez, you don't hear them. That doesn't mean they're not doing their job. It means, like, when Caden Curry is able to go out there, oh, you're going to play it?
Here we go. Let's fire away.
We might know who played the best, like, overall, but let's say somebody that you like. He played good, and not a lot of people know because he wasn't doing he wasn't making crazy plays, but he just doing what needed to be done every single time.
I mean, I got to give a shout out to my fellow members of BIA. I mean, the more you don't really hear the corner's name is the more that they doing their job. So Jermaine Matthews, IGB, they played a great game, and I mean, they made some plays. Jalen McClain, you don't hear his name, that means he's doing his job as well. So he's doing his job and everything like that. And then also Lorenzo Styles, he made a couple plays in that game. He had that big throwback punt return. He took it for like 50. He should have scored, but whatever.
He
had a couple big plays on defense.
Could have scored, whatever. Hey, that's the great thing. I've seen IGB make some big tackles. And by the way, give a huge credit to Davidson for getting his penalties curtailed this year. He worked on that, his butt off on the offseason. He's been a great tackler, great in coverage. Him and Jermaine have done a great job. The whole secondary has been tremendous. Whole defense has, but some of those guys haven't really been talked about. Want to make sure we champion them. We're going to come back here, Slags. We got our tailgate talk. We answer a couple of your questions in hand, and then we'll finish up the show with a little Thoughtful Thursday from our guy, Mr. Tim Walton, coming up on the Bobby Carpenter Show.
Creative, experience, results. That's what drives growth. That's what builds brands. That's Lake Spur Marketing, a full-service agency built on trust, strategy, and performance, not fluff. From bold strategies to flawless execution, every campaign is rooted in smart planning and driven by clear goals. We don't chase clicks. We build partnerships. We show up, dig in, and deliver every single time. Lake Spur Marketing. The proof is in our partners.
All right, welcome back in to the Bobby Carpenter Show. Schlags, good call. A couple of things you threw out here, some questions. Terry Slusher, Bobs, and Schlags, would Arvell and Caleb consider coming back next year to three-peat if the Buckeyes win a championship, even though they'll both be first-round NFL picks? I don't like to speak for other guys on that. I think Caleb's probably ready to go, and when he came here, I think everybody knew it was kind of a 2-year proposition. He'd already played a year at Bama. He would be eligible after this season, and then at that point probably move on. It's wild for Arvell because this is his first year as a starter. And, he's been climbing the draft boards. He's a phenomenal athlete. He's worked his butt off to develop his body.
Yeah, man.
Could he be drafted and possibly be a top 15 pick? I think there's a good chance of that. I think he's probably going to be a first rounder, assuming he continues to play at the level he is, and maybe higher than that. The one thing with Arvell is he played D-line a little bit. He's moved around. I think it's amazing to say this, Schlegs, just because of how good he's played. I think there is some more skill development that could happen on his part. And it is something with Sonny and Caleb leaving, like Caden Curry, Kenyatta, some of those other guys, for you to come back and be a leader, especially the linebacker position, run the huddle, run the defense, be, heavily involved in that. I think that is mission critical sometimes. And then also, some of the things that he would be the focal point. And I'm not saying he's going to leave or come back. That would be my one argument for him staying. But here's the thing. You got to win Title II before you can win Title I or Title III. So they got to figure that out first, Schlegs.
Yeah, my only thing is, one, it's always good to know you're only as valuable as your second best option. Two, NIL has bridged the gap to allow guys to stay one more year. And three, to your point, Bob, what are the things that he has to develop more to be more NFL ready? We see the flashes. We see all the things. We see his consistency. We see the multiple things that he's able to do. And will that be, and again, here's the risky proposition of the NFL. It is predicated upon your development where you go, because not all coaching is equal. And so that development aspect for him as he grows into that is something that you got to look at. So, but here, to me, the beautiful thing about both of these guys that you mentioned, Terry, is that they literally are just focusing on Illinois. And I know that. Like, you listen to Arvell's stuff, like, how do you describe yourself? It's like, just doing my thing, just that.
Doing my thing.
Right. And that's the thing with Caleb too. Like, you have a brother that's already in the league, and you have that presence and that mindset about you. Like, I could see that 100%. But you got to see where you are. You got to see where you stand at the end of the season, and you accomplish the things that you want to accomplish.
Yeah, pretty darn sweet. Another question here from Terry Schlegs. UFL plans to give the Columbus Aviators first dibs on all former Buckeyes who want to play in the league. Bob Schlegs, do you see anyone trying to make the team? Do I see Schlegs trying to make the team?
I said that about you. I coached your conditioning test, Bob, and I said you definitely have a few series left in the tank. And you're on QC.
How much are they getting paid? How much are they getting paid? By the way, I'm QC. I work with my guys over Affinity Whole Health to keep myself physically not impaired, physically unimpaired, if you will, so I can still function a little bit. I would need waivers for that, but depends how much. I'd go play, 7 or 8 games. I'd probably only practice 1 day a week, and don't hit me too hard.
You have to practice on grass. You have to pull out the vet move. I got to practice on grass. And if we go inside, I'm not practicing.
Yes.
Get me on that one good day, because I need 3 days of recovery. And oh, by the way, when you put this in there, Terry, I automatically said, hey, Jay, we need to hit up the Columbus Aviators, see if they need 2 veteran strength coaches over here. Get these dudes in the building. That'd be super bumpy. Here.
Yeah.
Right here. Yeah. Shake and bake, baby. Shake and bake. Anyways,
part of the problem is too, Schlegs, I'm worried. My neck hurts my neck bothers me a lot now.
Hey, guess what? Do more neck then, Bob.
No, not that. When I do more neck, my arms go numb. So that's not the solution. I've tried to do more neck to make sure. Yeah, you don't have the neck issues that I apparently do.
You want to know why? Because I got a thick cylinder, big traps, and big upper back and rhomboids.
Bob, you're soft, whatever. Schlegs, I do neck. I can't feel my hands. All right. I can't. Then I'll wake up and I'm like, hey.
My hands go numb all the time too. You charge it to winning, Bob.
Yeah, but I can't turn my head.
It's the indicator of life.
Stop. I get shooting pains down it's not good.
I know it sucks when you're driving and you can't feel your right hand. It's like AJ just driving with 2 feet and then he has to swing over and do the 1 foot,
I can't even turn my head past my shoulder anymore. It's so bad. Yeah. So I don't know.
Hey, you got great hips. You can open up and turn. You don't have to have your head.
I'm not worried about turning my head. I'm worried about if I hit somebody, what that's going to do to my spine.
They make these pads now, Bob, that you could take a sledgehammer to. I've seen them. You're fine.
How does that still protect
We'll get you a spider. We'll put a spider underneath your pads, or we'll get you the big cowboy collar like I used to wear back in the day, or that thing. Remember the thing that came up from Douglas? That
Yeah,
was straight
I
in
wore
the
that.
air?
I wore that my
Remember,
freshman year.
hey,
Yeah.
what was his name? Brian Cox. Remember Brian Cox used to wear that? He was a bad dude.
That was like a 2x6 that they had. They taped his helmet
just right
to.
there. He couldn't move.
He would just get like this. The 2x6. The thing was like a squared off, and they just put tape over it, I think, and set in there.
Now you got me reminiscing about the old days, man. Oh, you guys remember back in the day? Because I'm watching a junior high game, and we go to high school football games, and just how big our pads were, Bob, back then, and how big the neck rolls were. That did absolutely nothing. That neck roll didn't do anything. But
think of the surface area to strike was like you had that huge surface area. It's like a shield. Boom! You just be able to go through there.
It was like armor. It was like knights compared to now. Now these kids are walking out there. You got to have your knee pads on. They're just walking out there in like shorts, like pants that are under their body, like a Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition of pants on their legs.
Hold on, Chris Kersey threw this in. Throw this up, Pattis, and we'll get out of here on this one. Would Arvell be an every down linebacker in the NFL? Arvell would be every possible down for every possible situation. He's 6'4", he's 245 pounds. He could honestly probably put on 5 more pounds and still be fine, maybe 10. Like I think he could play edge in a 3, like in if you wanted him to play that, he can play off of the ball. He's a run guy, he's a pass guy. Like,
dude, Bob, who's that guy from New England that you played with that was really
Hightower?
Kind of Hightower. What's the guy that was right after him? He's kind of like that. Like he could play inside, he could play outside.
Yeah, he's very versatile. He can do a lot of stuff. He's and Norvell's long. He's smart. He can do a lot of things. I still think he can refine some of his game a little bit though, and then also ultimately becoming a leader when you have to be a leader, I think, is a big part of it. All right, that's it. We got our Thoughtful Thursday with Tim Walton coming up next. And everybody wanted to know our score predictions. They always come out Friday right here at the end of the show. So stay locked in here as we wrap up the Bobby Carpenter Show.
Creative, experience, results. That's what drives growth. That's what builds brands. That's Lake Spur Marketing, a full-service agency built on trust, strategy, and performance, not fluff. From bold strategies to flawless execution, every campaign is rooted in smart planning and driven by clear goals. We don't chase clicks. We build partnerships. We show up, dig in, and deliver every single time. Lake Spur Marketing. The proof is in our partners.
All right, hit our Thoughtful Thursday with our man Tim Walton. This is a good one.
What you say? I speak life. I speak peace. I speak everything I want to see. I care about you guys, not telling you what to do. Just want you to see yourself, broaden your view. Some people tell you how you should be living, but don't listen to the same advice that they be giving. So be careful who you listen to. Think things through. You can't be living wrong, advising me on what to do. Lean on the Lord without hesitation to help you do what's right with no need for vindication. Be careful what you say so things don't get heated. Don't say nothing about a man if you can't repeat.
Say it with your chest, man. Say it with your chest, man.
Say it with your chest. Ready?
Already.
Ready? Already, Schlegs. That was a banger. Score prediction. I got 31-13, but I won't be upset if it's 31-6.
Yep. I'm sticking with 38-13, and I won't be upset if it's 45-0.
Exactly. Well, that's it for today's show. We appreciate it, folks. Stay back in here on Monday to react and then get started on Wisconsin, who will be next week. Hopefully after a big Buckeye win. We'll be talking about it. Stay locked in right here on the Bobby Carpenter Show.